Howdy y'all, my name is Rick StrongBack. I'm a practitioner of old-time feats of strength, as you will have seen performed at the circus. This video is part of a series of videos that detail the history of some of the feats of strength, including how to perform them or to train to do them, and how to make them look good in front of a crowd. Now this video is how to bend steel horseshoes properly. Now I'm going to start off by saying a lot of people with a good amount of arm strength and grip strength can bend a steel horseshoe by hand. But most of the time, they're just going to end up with a mangled mess of iron and ain't going to look good. This video is going to teach you how to turn this into a work of art. So what I have here is a St. Croix ultralight rim number 2. This is a good place for someone with a good amount of wrist, elbow, and shoulder strength to start off with. The shape is really nice. It bends really well. There are tons of harder horseshoes out there. We'll get to them when we get to them. So once you've got your starting horseshoes, you're going to need some wraps. These are leather suede wraps. We use them for almost all our steel bending. These specifically are usually 8 to 12 inches long by 4 inches wide. And they are fairly thin and flexible. Now, why do we wrap our horseshoes? Number one is safety. There are a lot of little metal burrs and slivers on these things that if you're sitting there wrenching them with your bare hands and you haven't cleaned them off properly, you're going to just embed steel into your palms, and that's going to hurt. And if you hurt, you can't train or you can't perform. So I'm going to switch over to my point of view so that you can see how to properly wrap these so that they're not loosening up on you in the middle of your bend. So I am a right-handed dominant bender, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the horseshoe to a backward C, and I'm going to place the wrap over it like this so that it's draped through. I'm going to pinch here, and I'm going to start the wrap. I'm going to get it real tight, drop it back through, and continue that until I've got it real tight on there, all right? Once I got it there, I'm going to wrench down on it nice and tight so that it won't slip on me. I'm going to go ahead and get a rubber band on there to hold it in place. So we got that first wrap on there. All we're going to do is going to keep that backwards C, and we're going to rotate it like that and do the same thing on this side. We're going to get it in the same place. We're going to have it slip down through. We're going to start that wrap. We're going to continue it. Going through, I'm going to get it nice and tight, and we're going to wrench it down. Make sure you really make sure that you tighten it up. If you notice that it's off balance at all, you can always just untighten it a little bit, slip it, and then tighten it back down. Now I'm going to put another rubber band on there, and then we'll be ready to get going. I'm holding it as the backward C, and I've got the wraps both going the same direction. If these are in opposite directions, it's going to unravel as you're trying to bend, and then you're going to be having to re-wrap mid-bend. So now that we got this all wrapped up for safety, we can start the bend. So people who perform this often are asked, how much leverage are these wraps giving us? And as you can see, the ends of the horseshoe end right in line with the wraps themselves. So really and truly, it's not giving us any leverage. The real advantage here is it gives us something to be able to grip tighter on and not risk cutting our hands right open. So when we're performing old-time feats of strength, we do big, grandiose movements that are over-exaggerated so that we catch the audience's attention. But the fundamentals stay the same with this. We are going to do some specific movements that you can train for so that we can turn this horseshoe into either an S, a heart, or mash it into a paperclip shape. Me personally, the heart is what I usually end with because it's become kind of my signature. So we got to start off by kinking this thing, and I have a very strong chest and shoulders, so I can press this. Other people like to just go ahead and skip right to the pull, but I like starting this off, getting that initial kink in there, and you can see that bend starting. Plant it on the side here. If you are getting started, you put a crush pad here. It's basically a piece of folded up shop towel or leather so that you don't bruise up your leg. We're going to place it flat here. We're going to pull across while pushing down with our top hand. We're going to get this nice, little past 90-degree kink here. Now, put your crush pad here if you need it. Place it right there in your pocket. Lock your arms out as if you're pressing, and then crunch down on it. And that's going to give you this nice super S. And you can see it's nice and flat now. So while this is still hot, we might want to press it out a little bit more. So now it's past that, and we can get to the thigh crush now. We're going to plant it here, and we're going to squeeze like our life depends on it. We're going to grip tight and twist. We might have to readjust and just turn it so that we end up with that heart. Now at this point, if you wanted to crush it into a paper clip, you plant here, crush, then switch it, plant, and crush. It'd be your paper clip. But let's unwrap this and see what we got. And there we are. Now at this point, you might have a little bit of a gap here at the bottom. You can readjust it now by just picking your spot. If it's uneven, you can sit there and press from one side and press on the other side, and that's going to even it out. And there we go. We have our heart.